From the Far East to Western Europe, from Siberia to Hindustan, many centuries ago the nomadic civilization stretched for tens of thousands of kilometers. Today the descendants of ancient nomadic tribes have become independent nations, yet they have preserved their nomadic survival culture. In what form nomadic traditions are still alive at present? Watch the Ethnosports to learn all about that and much more. In today's episode, distance of 25 kilometers and more, controversy around Alaman-Baiga, horse that became legend.
Мир вашему дому, дорогие друзья!
Hello dear friends, I'm not sure about you, but I really like powerful, fast motorcycles. For example, the power of this motorcycle's engine is 70 horsepower. The strength of the whole drove of horses is in one motor. Do you know why engine power is measured in horsepower? The term was introduced by Scottish scientist and engineer James Watt. Today this unit applies to measure the power of any modern vehicle. This is an example of the importance of horses in the history of mankind. A Kazakh, a descendant of ancient nomads, can talk endlessly about horses. It is impossible to imagine a nomad without a horse. One of the big nomadic equestrian traditions is horse racing, which in Kazakh is called baiga.
Одним ёмким словом байге.
Baiga takes its origin from the ancient times. History has no exact record of how horse racing started in the old nomadic cultures. But one thing is certain, the nomads had races for long and super long distances. This is what distinguishes the alaman-baiga today from other horse races popular across the world. Unlike traditional races with a length of 1 to 10 kilometers, the race distance in Alaman-Baiga reaches 15, 25 and even 51 kilometers. In the past, as the horses approached the finish line, the audience began to cry out loud their tribal chants to support the riders. It's no wonder that a horse for ancient nomads was absolutely everything, a friend, a vehicle and source of food. But its special significance was manifested in the battles against enemies. The strong companion increased the strength and maneuver of the warriors on the battlefield. For Kazakhs, the baiga is not just horse racing. It has a special and even sacred meaning. In the old days, baiga was organized to mark big occasions, like Nowruz, the festival of spring equinox, birth of a child, a wedding. Sometimes baiga was held by an elderly person who knew he would not live long. Baiga was a sort of a farewell gift to tribesmen. Truly, the baiga is a connecting thread between the past and the present, between us and our ancestors, and hopefully, our future generations. Nastya, hi. Well, hello. Long time no see. Yeah, it's been a while. My friends, I want to introduce you to the most famous veterinarian in the country, Anastasia Zhatkina. Nastya, I have a number of questions for you. Can any horse enter baiga race, or do horses need special training to participate? Of course, they need special training. Not all horses can participate in the race because horses are different in their strength, friskiness, aptitude to run long distances. A lot depends on their diets too. Not every horse is allowed to run 25 kilometers in Alaman-Baiga. So this means race horses have a special diet, and they are kept and bred differently. They follow a special routine. They are not allowed to have breakfast at 10 a.m. one day and 11 a.m. another day. They have a strict daily regime, which is observed by the keepers. This includes timely watering and feeding. Before the start of the racing season, the nutritionists exclude barley and wheat from the diet of the horses. They add oats, eggs, carrots and sugar into the regimen. Sometimes they even add honey to the diet. In addition, horses are also happy to eat muesli. And most importantly, the regimen is enriched with vitamins. Lots of vitamins.
Мне пришла идея.
I have an idea. I'm here on a motorbike, and you have a horse. Shall we race? Well, we can try.
Посмотрим, что из этого получится. Ну все,
Положи
давай.
один кругу, да?
На шоколадку.
На шоколадку.
So, Nastya, who won?
Чья взяла?
Well, we definitely started better. Your start was definitely better, and then I did not even see how far behind you were. Well, machine is a machine. I'll open you a secret. In a natural landscape, I would rather trust a horse more than rely on a motorbike. I agree, I would like to try riding your horse, if you don't mind. But I'll open you one secret. This motorcycle has 70 horsepower. So your horse had no chances against my bike. I didn't mention this before the race, sorry. We are at the Qazaqstan Hippodrome. Many significant races happen here. The length of the distance is 3 kilometers 300 meters. Qazaqstan is an epicenter of the race world. All the best racing horses are trained here. The hippodrome has 18 stables. There are 20 to 50 horses in each stable. Alaman-Baiga is a test of endurance for both the horse and rider. However, they are not the only ones competing in the race. First and foremost, successful participation depends on the horse breeder, the Uzbekistan, and the person who takes care of the horse and trains it, the babka, or the coach. Who wins a race, a horse or a jockey?
Или жокей?
Jockey leads the champion to the finish, but it's the horse who becomes a champion. For that, the animal should have a big heart. He must be smart too. Well-trained racing horses know the distance. They feel the jockey, and they can distribute their strength. It's a teamwork. It's not just a horse or a rider who comes first. It's the team who wins. You mean it is the work of the coach and nutritionist? That's right. It means the team wins. Indeed, the team wins. Nastya said every horse has his own character and temper. Usually calm horses with strong character become champions. Don't be surprised. Horses are just like people, and there are leaders among them. Such horse can compete, wait for his time, and at the right moment pull all his effort to win the race. Luckily, we have the opportunity to attend a test ride for Alaman-Baiga. 4 horses and 4 horsemen compete without stirrups, just like the ancient nomads did. Here I see spectators on the rostrum. Riders have already made 2 laps, and now there will be a 3rd round, and probably that will be the finish. Look how spectators are reacting. Probably everyone has his own favorite racer. Let's watch. This is a rehearsal race where the novice racing horses are introduced to the competition. There are no prizes, but there are lots of spectators. The results of this race show which horse is ready to enter the real Alaman-Baiga. So there are fewer horses. I suppose only 2 horses will reach the finish. In the main part of the Alaman-Baiga, horses race at a speed of no more than 25 kilometers. And only on the home stretch, they sharply accelerate. Here their speed can reach 48 kilometers. Now we see their final acceleration. We need to remember that horses have already run 15 kilometers in this mode. Go, go! Well, I guess it is possible to detect the winner from the start. The guy in a bright jacket. I liked him from the start. I knew he would win. Why are such races important? Now can we see the ginger horse got off the track? That horse cannot take part in a long run. Only 2 horses out of 4 can participate in the further race, because they passed the distance. These horses will be allowed to the real race. I have read that your foreign colleagues are negative about the Alaman-Baiga, because in their opinion it is cruel treatment of animals. No, that's not true. They just don't know the work from inside. Look at the world sport. In the 50s there were 1 records. Nowadays there are other ones. We work with the horses, we invest in them. This is a very difficult process. We work on their breathing, on toning their muscles. We strengthen the heart muscle. They have such an intensive training for a half a year, and only then the horse enters the race. They don't run at the maximum speed all the time, only in the end. The finish line is 1,500 meters. That's when they accelerate. I believe 10, 11 kilometers are last century, and horses are capable to do more. So if we are nomads, then we can dare to push ourselves to do more. Alaman-Baiga is also not a problem. As time passes, they will understand this and even accept this sport. You mean that we have something to teach them? Yes. Teaching a horse to breathe well for such super long races, I don't know coaches in Russia who can do it. Or look at our neighbor countries. For example, Kyrgyz coaches can only dream of such results. They think it is impossible, but if you work smart, you can make it possible. Today we saw that Baiga is an entire world. Baiga is life. We are at the oldest and one of the best race courses of Kazakhstan. Here with me I have Yuri Tishenko, the director of the race course. Yuri, is horse racing a sport or is it something bigger? Races are the test for friskiness. Racers challenge the most frisky, fast and enduring horses. This way, the best horses are identified, which then reproduce even faster and more enduring horses. The race course has a long history of professional jockey dynasties. One of them is the Orlov family. Ivan Orlov is a jockey here. His grandfather used to work here. His father still works here. A warm jacket on Ivan is not accidental. It helps to lose weight. The jockey's weight must not exceed 58 kilograms, including the ammunition and saddle. That is why in the past only the children or teenagers participated in the Baiga. They often rode horses without saddles to lessen the burden on horses. Today the age limit for participation in the Baiga starts from 10 years and older. I took part in motor races several times, but I never won. Here is one young horse rider who won several Baiga races. I want to at least shake his hand. Hey young man, wait a minute. What is your name? Aybek. Aybek, I want to shake your hand. You have won so many races. This guy's name is Aybek. He's very modest. He's a multiple champion of Kazakhstan. How many cars have you won? 16. Can you imagine? This guy has won 16 cars. Okay, I won't bother him any longer. He has to train. And as you can see, Aybek is very modest. That is how the champions should be. He's unstoppable. The prize fund in the Baiga has always been generous. In the past, a sheep flock could be set up as a prize. Now it is usually an expensive car or a large sum of money. Our ancestors had a rule: the win went to the council of the family, who disposed the prize at his own discretion. The horseman who took the prize to himself was the one who went against the family, which was unacceptable for a nomad. Now the prize also goes to the owner of the horse, who, as a token of gratitude, may well give the jockey the car he won. Friends, this is Alaman-Baiga, famous horse breeder and founder of the horse farm, on which multiple champion horses were raised. I heard about the legendary horse named Toskin. Tell me about him. At first look, he was an ordinary horse. There were others before him: Lagetta, Sunka, Yekatai, Jadige, Baktoro, but Toskin was different. Such horses are very rare to meet. I loved him very much. Toskin was a real racer. He won 12 prizes. Kazakhstan Championship in Equestrian Sport, the President's Cup and others. Everyone who lives in the equestrian world dreams of having such a horse like Toskin in their stable. For 4 years of his racing career, he lost only 2 races. In all the other races, Toskin always came first. From the video footage, which the owner of Toskin carefully keeps, you can see how easily and confidently he ran the distance. With a wide margin from the remaining 60 participants, Toskin crosses the finish line and does not look tired at all. But look in what condition his rivals finish. Some are forcibly trying to reach the finish line. Some are even falling dead. Their last steps in the race may have been their final steps. As I understand, the main goal of the rider is to come to the finish line first. And probably he does everything that he can for this. And I heard it often happens that the horse falls dead after the finish. Nastya, have you witnessed such an incident? Yes, it happens, but not often. And it's not the rider's fault. It's more a lack of examination of a horse. That is, we cannot establish or diagnose a cardiac insufficiency in a horse. We do not have even a clinic after all. Visually we can say yes, the horse doesn't feel well, but only if we could detect the symptoms. But we cannot diagnose well all the time, so sometimes it happens. Toskin died last fall, and not on the treadmill. The cause of his death was just a gastric disease. It was a simple negligence of the staff. Toskin was buried in the grave as a human. We paid the last tribute to the legend of the equestrian sport. What was it? It was a queue, the work of Nugizat Lendiev, called Alkisa. This queue was an improvisation written in 1982. When I was listening to your playing of the queue, I found it brilliant. My mind drifted away into the steppe and mountains. I imagined a drove of horses galloping through the vast Kazakh land. Was it just my imagination, or was it actually in the music? No, you're absolutely right. Literally all Kazakh queues convey the images of galloping horses, the endless steppe and beautiful nature. Queues like Alkisa bring these images. Can you now repeat exactly the moments that resemble horses running in the steppe? Repeat, please. Today was a very emotional day, a real adventure. I remembered the wonderful words of Dukenbai Dozjan. What kind of Kazakh does not get excited when he hears the ringing word, Baiga? The Kazakhs wait for Baiga as a burned-out desert steppe waits for the rain. Only a horse can comfort the soul of the steppe. Baiga as a tradition and sport has been passed down from generation to generation. It's in our blood. Baiga is a manifestation of the soul of a nomad, unrestrained like a thoroughbred horse and as vast as our steppe.